Space Ace, defender of justice, truth, and the planet Earth. Ace is being attacked by the evil Commander Borf.
Hold your fire! Who is that creep?
Wait, I was supposed to enhance this, right?
Space Ace.
No, wait, wrong one. Just a second. I've got it here. Don't worry. Just hold on. And there. Have you ever been talking to someone and Dragon's Lair just casually came up? You know, like, hey, Kimberly, you remember Dragon's Lair? And they were like,
Dragon's Lair? Is that like that nerdy Dungeons and Dragons like game or something? As if.
I can count on one finger the amount of times that has happened to me, but Space Ace? If I had a partner for every time I heard space what, I would have quite the harem. And to be quite honest, that is something I think I could teach myself to put up with. If I had to. Of course, you hit the link to watch this, so I'm willing to guess you already know what Space Ace is and why it is important. I am Noriko, and today we are talking about Space Ace.
Space Ace, defender of justice, truth, and the planet Earth. Ace is being attacked by the evil Commander Borf.
Hold your fire! Who is that creep?
Borf.
Earthlings must surrender to me.
No way, Borf, old buddy. Oh!
Ah! I've been hit!
By the Infanto-ray.
Earthlings must surrender to me.
Struggle with Dexter to regain his manhood. Destroy the Infanto-ray. Defeat the evil Borf.
Hey, Borf! Come on, Kimberly, let's go. I've been hit.
Be valiant, Space Warrior. The fate of Earth is in your hands.
Right off the top, there's a lot of history here which I've covered in my previous video of Dragon's Lair, and instead of repeating myself, I'm going to ask you, if you want the history, check it out first. Link in the description below. Space Ace was the follow-up game for Dragon's Lair. It was not a sequel as many seem to have theorized throughout the years. Ace is not a direct descendant of Dirk. Kim is not a direct descendant of Daphne. Instead, it's more of a spiritual successor of the insert a buttload of quarters, move the stick, and hear that satisfying and boom, dopamine. Now, this game was unveiled 4 months after Dragon's Lair, but it was not released until a whole 6 months had passed. At first, it was a limited release in December of 1983, but by spring of the following year, Ace could be found nearly everywhere. Core gameplay was similar: coin, stick, dopamine, but with a few extra options added. Gone was the one-size-fits-all gameplay with the difficulty decided at the arcade owner's dip switch settings. Now, the player had 3 difficulties to choose from: Cadet, Captain, and Space Ace. Cadet was the easiest, the shortest version of the game with only half of the scenes being played. But by selecting Space Ace, you, the player, would get the whole experience. Next, unlike Dragon's Lair, which had only a few scenes reversed, 7 of 30, almost every scene in Space Ace has a reversed version. This increases the difficulty considerably, as you could never know which one you were going to get. Another difference was when the player made a mistake and Ace died. Instead of ending the scene where it was, playing the death animation and having the player either repeat the room or start a new room from the beginning, as in Dragon's Lair, Space Ace would play the death animation and then pick the scene up just a little bit ahead in the story from where the player died. It did not rewind, it did not start over, it just kept going. Now you know why it was so hard to get the perfect playthrough. But as I remember, this mechanic made the game the perfect quarter monster. Every player knew that if they kept shoving quarters down the machine's gullet, they would eventually get to the end. So they kept doing it, quarter, 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 over and over and over. Now, instead of a daring knight trying to save the over-sexualized princess from the clutches of an evil dragon, you have Ace, the pulp space hero, trying to save his overly sexualized, short-skirt-wearing, panty-flashing, busty, sarcastic girlfriend from her kidnapper Borf, the not-so-well-defined purple baddie who has an infantilization fetish. Literally. he has a ray gun called the Infanto-ray, which he plans to fire at Earth and reduce the entire population to babies. That's it. That's the entire premise of the game. There's another mechanic to this game which I really struggled with where I was going to plug it in, and here's where it seems to have won out. It's the whole Dexter/Ace dichotomy. You see, at the beginning of the game, during the attract mode, we get to see a scene in which Ace is hit by the Infanto-ray. Only, for some reason, it didn't turn him into a baby. Instead, it regresses him to an early teenager. So you're not actually playing a strapping, burly, sexy, deep, Jeff Elter-voiced hunk known as Ace. You're playing as this spindly toothpick of a nasally Will Finn-voiced dweeb known as Dexter. But Dexter has a wristwatch-like device on his arm that, with a convenient push of the energize button during the right moment, will power Dexter up into Ace. This gave the player a chance at two separate playstyles. The first, Dexter, is a playstyle based in agility, wits, and avoidance. The second, Ace, is a playstyle of brute force. And, well, bad puns. In both, you play through a linear movie of random left or right side orientations in which Dexter, sometimes Ace, starts out trying first to save his girlfriend Kimberly, but quickly moves on to trying to stop Borf from using the Infanto-ray on Earth. Now, along the way, Dexter/Ace gets to use a gun, ships, muscles, roller skates, and an industrial-sized glowing stick. Lots of fun, trust me. No, really, it's better than it sounds. Now let's talk hardware. Space Ace originally came in two flavors, factory assembled working right out of the box in conversion kit. The factory version was a dedicated cabinet which could be bought, delivered, plugged in, and quarter. You know the story. The conversion kit was a little more complicated. Someone had to swap out some parts, notably a control panel, which included some extra bennies in the lower right-hand corner not found on Dragon's Lair, a marquee, a laser disc, 5 EEPROM ROMs, and new side art. All in all, pretty easy as long as proper care was taken with the EEPROMs. The original factory release of Space Ace games came with one of the same Laserdisc players as Dragon's Lair, the Pioneer LDV 1000 or the Pioneer PR7820, which, other than their price point, they weren't really the best choice. These two-player models were designed for playing movies, not games. See, when playing a movie, the laser seeks and reads in much the same way a record needle travels across an album. It moves slowly and methodically while the media spins at a constant rate. Gameplay put a very different strain on the hardware which could not have been anticipated at the time simply because it had not been encountered in the hardware yet. As the player would engage the game, the heads would have to seek different areas of the laserdisc, often with no warning and having to seek again to another location within another second of time. Add on top of that the length of time the hardware was being used consistently throughout the day, each and every day, and you can easily see the hardware was not designed for this behavior, and it led to what essentially amounts to what can be called repetitive stress injuries in the hardware. Now, for this reason, third-party conversion kits were manufactured to allow the use of other Laserdisc players post-release or post-breakdown. Despite these unlikely factors, they all came together to give the player a game experience that, in a similar vein as Dragon's Lair, was still the same core gameplay and should have been an instant hit. So let's have a look. Hold on just a second there. Editing Noriko here. If you're wondering why it took me so long to release this Let's Play, it's pretty simple.
She discovered Pokemon is what happened.
Yeah. Thanks, honey. My wife, everyone. Keeping me honest. I wasn't sure I was going to do it, and it's a whole lot harder play than Dragon's Lair, which means it took forever to capture a good playthrough. I'm also enhancing the video, so yeah, that. Also, I feel like I should not have to say this, but you should take a second right now and click those like and subscribe buttons. You know you want to do that for me, right? If not, tell me in the comments why below so I can fix it. You know you want to. Anyway, let's get to the game.
There's Borf's ship.
Close, Ming Ming.
I'm just kidnapped by aliens, that's all.
I'll save you, Kimmy!
Get me out of here!
Wah! Whoa! Space station, request permission to land. Aha! Borf is here.
Alert! Unidentified personnel on level 1.
Whoa! Ah!
Seal off all exits to level 1.
Whoa!
Oh, far out.
Whoa!
Dexter! Get me out of here!
Alert! Close all corridors to level 1.
Whoa! Wow! Oh!
No one can survive the mission. Attack the sites.
Get you this time. Aha. He's had it. Ah! I win! Later, Space Invader.
Dexter!
Oh! Oh!
Shag.
Whoa! Kimmy!
Beware your dark side.
Whoa! What? Ooh.
Dexter!
Wow! No! Yikes! Kimmy! What?
Dexter!
Dexter, you're late.
Call me Ace, huh? Hop on.
Thanks. I'll walk. Dexter, the Infanto-ray is about to be fired at Earth.
Call me Ace, huh? Where's the ray located?
In the center of the complex.
Can you get us in there?
Yes.
Lug nuts. Borf know I'm here?
Yes, and he's geared for battle.
Let's say we shoot Borf with his own Infanto-ray.
Why, yes.
Would say we have dinner tonight.
Get serious.
I am.
Make a right.
Watch out, Borf, old buddy. Here we come.
Dexter!
Call me Ace, huh?
The Borf control.
Hey!
Come on. Use the aqua booms.
Black eel is in the tank.
Kimmy! Come on!
Control straight ahead.
Oh!
Which way? Which way? Which way?
No! Kimmy!
Dexter! Dexter, the Infanto-ray is...
Take that. Run! Run! Take that.
Oh, Dexter! Isn't he adorable? Can we keep him?
Call me Ace, huh?
Space Ace did not capture the imagination, hearts, and minds of the world in the way that Dragon's Lair did. It had merch, not like Dragon's Lair, with every kind of merch imaginable, but it had it. It did have a cartoon, though, 12 11-minute episodes long with a final 22-minute episode. It was shown on CBS Saturday Supercade from 8 September 1984 through 1 December 1984. They're available on YouTube if you want to watch them. Fair warning, though. Even though it only takes 35 seconds into the first episode for the first
Call me Ace, huh?
callback, a much redesigned Ace, shoulders 3 times as wide as his abdomen, his biceps bigger than his head, and Kimberly, yes, that is 27-year-old stiff reading Nancy Cartwright you are hearing, are officers of Space Command under Space Marshal Vaughn. 1 minute into the episode, and Ace comically reverts to Dexter, and we learn this condition is being kept secret from Space Command. The Space Marshal is of the impression that Dexter is Kimberly's younger brother. I mean, I guess lies are okay as long as it's done by the heroes. Now, there have been a number of releases and spin-offs made throughout the years, the worst one being the 1994 Super Nintendo game. It had a relatively faithful to the original game progression, but was literally a sequence of nothing but memorized game mechanics. It had no life, no heart, and no soul. Other than that, there have been some very faithful rebuilds throughout the years. PCs, the Atari ST, Apple II GS, Philips CDI, Sega CD, Atari Jaguar, Panasonic 3DO, iPod Touch/iPhone, Android, and this thing they keep making over and over called the Dragon's Lair Trilogy. It's just a pack featuring Dragon's Lair that adds Dragon's Lair 2 and Space Ace to sweeten the pot. Pretty much the only way out there to get Dragon's Lair 2 outside of Steam. The most recent releases on Steam, Nintendo Switch, PlayStation Store, Xbox Store, are all touted as being remastered, widescreen, faster, better, stronger. Yeah, about that. 16:9 widescreen is great, but not when it's a destructive process. Let me explain. The original game is a 4.3 release, 4:3 is an aspect ratio. It means if you break the screen down into equal sized squares, it would be 4 squares wide and 3 squares tall. So we call that 4:3. The remaster is 16:9, which means if we break the screen down into equal sized squares, it has to be 16 squares wide and 9 squares tall. Again, 16:9. Follow? Are you seeing the problem yet? In order for it to be 16:9, either some kind of sideline has to be added. Black bars, a frame, awesome furry art, or we have to remove some from the top and the bottom in a process called cropping. As you can see here, they went for the second option, which means 12.5% of the top and 12.5% of the bottom has been cut off and thrown away. Gone. Bye-bye. See you later. Newer does not always mean better. Wrapping up, thank you for watching my Let's Play of the early 80s classic Space Ace. Please remember to hit that like and subscribe buttons to be notified of more great content when it comes out. Be kind to yourselves, be kind to each other, and finally, let's get to the real reason you came here. The deaths. You thought I wouldn't notice. What, you think I'd let you down?
Oh, wow. I've been hit. Far out.
Totally cosmic. I win. Fantastic. Oh!
Oh, far out.
Wow! Hey! Hey! Oh! Oh!
Awesome. Far out.
Whoa! Ah! Oh! Ah! Ah! Oh!
You cannot win.
Really spectacular, spared no expense.